Now, what we are left in this framework is adding logs, reports, then reading data from Excel, Mavenizing, like running the project through Maven, then Jenkins, then sending mail using the mail API, right? These things we have already seen in data-driven and previous models that we have already designed. And there is no change in these things, right? The way of implementation, the coding part, everything remains same. I'm going to show you a couple of things, how you're going to integrate it. I mean, the coding will be the same, so we'll be taking it from our existing projects that we have designed so far, right? So let's say if we talk about reporting, we started with extend report, right? So in this project, we need to implement the same extend report. So we have already added in the utility that is extend manager, right? So in extend manager, we are targeting the report at the Surefire report under target under HTML, and here we'll be generating this extend report, right? And we are generating it based on the listeners. Whenever a test fails, that test will be added to our basically report, and we are actually capturing a screenshot on basis of that as well. So listener, whatever that we have used in our previous project, I'll just gonna take the listener from there, the custom listener class, and I'll paste it to the listeners over here, right? Let's see why it's erroring out. So in custom listeners, what we are doing in failures from the utilities, we are calling capture screenshot method, and then we are attaching the screenshot, and in the report test ng by default report, or the report ng report that we are generating, we are attaching the screenshot over there as well, right? And basically this report dot rep dot end test, this is the reference of extent report, right, which is actually like whenever we end the test we need to mention end test and flush the report, right? And on start we are actually saying rep dot start, so the test case will gonna start accordingly, right? And on success we are again finishing, like we are flushing the report, we are ending the test, and we are performing all these things, right? And on finish of the suit, we are actually sending an email as well, right? So these things we've already seen in previous project, and this is the one that we'll be using it over here as well. So utilities will again remain common, where we have created some common methods for capturing screenshot, our common data providers, right? So those data provider, we would be needing it in this project as well. So I'm gonna copy utilities and paste it over here. So all the errors will go away. So in utilities, if we remember, we have created a method for capturing a screenshot with current timestamp, and we are storing the screenshot in the Surefire HTML report, HTML folder, where we are actually generating the extend report as well, right? So once this is done, and data provider will look at it later on, right? First, we'll see how we can configure reporting part. So in our custom listeners, whenever the test gets fails, a screenshot get captured and it gets attached to the report. So for this, we actually need to run this project through Maven. And in Maven, in pom.xml, we should actually give the path of our test.ng.xml file, the runner file, that is src test resources runner. This is the runner file, and we need to give it in our plugin, Surefire plugin, src test resources, and I'll remove this part, runner test.ng.xml, right? Now, if I right click on this project, I can execute all Maven tasks. I can say run as, first I'll do Maven clean. Maven clean will gonna delete everything that is inside the target folder. So everything will be deleted, and you can see target folder is empty now. Now, if I run as Maven test, so it will gonna take some time, and it will execute the test phase and will execute the test suite as per the testng file. And see, the logs are still not working, so we'll be configuring the logs as well. That's the very first test. And then it will go to the second one. Execution done. And let's see, both tests are successfully executed. We don't have any failures, right? If I refresh it, let's see if we get the report inside our target, Surefire, HTML, and there is no extent report that got generated. This is because we let's see, have we given this custom listener in our testng runner file? We called that listener over here? Okay, we haven't called that listener. So that listener as well we need to call, because in this that listener itself we are generating report. So we'll say the package name is listeners and the class name is custom listeners. So we need to give this listener class over here, then only it will gonna work. Right. So let's again run this. Again say run as first. I'll clean it. And then I'll run it again, run as, and before running it, I would like to fail some test cases as well, because I want to see if the screenshots are being captured or not. So I'll go to my test over here, and I'm gonna do a failure. Most probably I'm gonna do I'll fail this verify statement, right? What happens? We need to import this. Okay, just give me a moment. What's erroring out? Let me see. So Maven update the project. So at times you may encounter such errors. So just update your project to make sure everything is working as expected. Right. So let's run this and let's see if everything works fine. Okay, there seems to be some exception. The exception says setting session ID is null using WebDriver after calling quit. Okay. So what's happening is that we are accessing this WebDriver functionality in a custom listener in our test over here, right? Where we are capturing screenshot, we are getting the driver reference from the screenshot that we are capturing. So this is the driver reference, and what's happening is if we go to our test, we are actually quitting the browser within the test itself. And the listener is called once the test is failed, right? So we need to remove the step from here. Even the configuration, we will do it in public void, like a setup method, and this should be at the rate before test, right? And this we need to do it at the rate after test. I'll say quit or say tear down at the rate after test. So this page.quit browser will go over here, right? And over here, the page.configuration. Same thing, we need to do it in our initial test, like that is the sign up test. So sign in test, we need to add this over here, remove this, and then we'll take this from here, sorry, copy and paste it here, right? So quit browser and initialization should not be inside your test. So let's run it again, and sending out emails, I'll just gonna comment it for the timing. So that should be inside custom listener. Once the test suite is completed, it is actually sending out an email. So I'm gonna comment it for the timing. Comment the entire meaning part. Okay, so let's run it. It's taking a bit time. Yeah, some issues with the network. Just give me a moment. Okay, Some issues with the network, just give me a moment. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, the first test went through. Now the second one. And let's see. Okay, so yeah, now the expected assertion failure. Now let's refresh our project to see if the report is being generated in the target Surefire HTML, and we got the extend HTML generated, right? And if I open this extend HTML report, so this shows the sign-in test has passed and the flight search test failed. And here we have a screenshot for the failure as well, right? So this is how we can report a failure, and this stuff we have already seen in the previous frameworks, right? So where we can see the status of pass and fail, and if you take a look over here, it shows fail one and pass one. And why it is showing fail two steps over here? This is because we have added the screenshot as a fail instead of info, right? So wherever we are capturing screenshots, for this one, let's say I go to listeners and in test failure. So this should be log status dot info, right? So this should not be a fail, should be a message, and then after that we have a screenshot, right? Now let's fix the logs as well. So logs, we need to go to log4j.properties where we have kept it inside src test resources, and we have properties, that log4j.properties, and we will fix this to page object with factories. So this is what page object with factories, right? And rest path should remain same. It should be should not be com.w2. Same thing. I need to change it over here. Page object with factories and resources, because this is directly inside. We have resources and we have logs and the application and Selenium logs, right? Okay, and in pom.xml file as well, we need to fix the path where we are actually reading this properties, log4j.properties. So it should be resources and properties and then log4j.properties. Now let's run it once more to see if it works. And see the logs are being picked because we didn't get the error this time. Okay, how come it's stuck over here? Just give me a moment. All right. And now if you look at the log files over here in application logs, we have the log just for launching Chrome, right? And then Selenium logs are absolutely fine, the auto-generated logs. But here we are actually not writing the logs, right? I mean, if you remember, in case of page object model, we have created some keywords and we have wrapped our logs over there, like keywords for clicking, for typing. This is for click, this is for type, right? This is for select. But here we are directly calling click and send keys from the page factory methods itself, right? If you remember, if I go to page actions, then directly uh, we are calling click like this, right? So this should, how are we gonna write the logs if we have a functionality like this? How will we report step-by-step logging? So this we're gonna take a look in the next lecture.